Hey there, it's the early hours of the morning of the 8th of November. Just daily check-in to say, yep, I'm still alive. I've been attacked again. It doesn't stop. Um, um, it's like there's just no end to it. I do everything I can to stop it. And, yeah, I have no idea. You know, this thing goes so deep and so many people involved in this. And, you know, when my ex first told me he was a Mason, yeah, I'd heard of Masons and their secret meetings but to be quite honest, him and his friend, Ray, who was a Mason as well, I thought, really, they were twits, basically. I didn't think that there was very serious about anything. And I was thinking about it today. I worked for a solid year with my ex up in Norfolk. Accommodation included. And at the end of, I think, about 14 months, where we was owed a lot of money, he then decided he didn't want us there anymore. And he told us to go. He called us tenants when he took us to court. He actually called us unknown tenants, which was a bit spooky because he'd known Dave for at least 40 years, to my knowledge. But, you know, there's basic rules when you're evicting anyone, especially when you call them a tenant. And one is that there has to be a gas safety check, and there has to be grounds. Well, there was no gas safety check. We did go to see a solicitor. They told us he has absolutely no chance of getting us out, and he will have to pay what he owes us. Well, when we went to court, we was given something like 12 days to get out. 12 days to get out with nowhere to go. As if that wasn't bad enough, everywhere we applied to get somewhere to live, we was denied. Everywhere. So I suppose I learned pretty early on, you know, even if there may be a lot of twits in this, I don't know, cult, whatever you would call it, it is far-reaching. And they do each other's favours that are totally illegal. And I won't forget Judge Stephen's name. I paid £350 to have the rulings set aside. I don't think, and I paid by cheque, but I don't think that that was even registered as she called us squatters in court. And I said, how can you call us squatters? It actually says on the eviction notice that we're tenants. Well, she said that she wasn't altering the ruling. I said, you know, you've just set a precedence. And she turned around and she looked at me as if to say, how comes this idiot knows anything about setting a precedence? You know, I mean, total shock. But confidence, just the same, total confidence. And I've been to many court hearings since that I don't believe were even registered. I know I've been to 3 tribunals that was never registered because they admitted 100% that no notes were being taken and there was going to be no record left of it. Totally saying that it's phony. I mean, when they abducted me in Edinburgh and locked me up in the hospital there, they wouldn't even get me an advocate. I'd been in there nearly a week and, they wouldn't even give me an advocate. I did speak to one that was there for somebody else, and she said that she would send someone, but they moved me to another ward, probably told some story about releasing me. But, there was nothing that they was doing that was legal. I mean, I should never have been abducted from the hotel. I was detained on mental health grounds. And I said, what mental health grounds? The only mental health grounds that you can actually detain somebody on is if they are intending harm to themselves or others. Or maybe even for a very short notice, like 3-day section, maybe disturbing the peace and acting out and out crazy. But to actually break into somebody's hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning when they're trying to go to sleep, it's totally illegal. I phoned up the police and I gave them their police numbers, and the actual guy on the phone was shouting at me like I had no right to check who these men were. I mean, why should I think that they're real police officers? Why should I have thought that they were real police officers when they're trying to abduct me from my hotel room? And, and I applied for a tribunal. It was supposed to come in the next 5 days, and I think it was about 6 days later. They didn't even have a record of it. I asked for the records of the tribunal that released me and said that they had no grounds for keeping me to be transferred, and evidently no medical records can be sent over the border or medications. Yet they told me that they were dosing me up with these medications that was actually listed as illegal drug trials, and they'd managed to get over to the border and they was giving me these medications because a doctor had approved it in London. I mean, to believe that this kind of stuff even happens, where people are, I remember a little while ago, there was somebody that was actually doing operations who was saying he was a doctor and he wasn't even a doctor. I mean, that's one thing. But these are people setting up courtroom hearings, appeals. We was actually, me and my son was attacked by the police on my son's 25th birthday. And I had my clothes ripped off me. I was gassed with CS gas at point blank range on my face. my skin was peeling off my face for like 3 weeks. I asked for, the mugshot that they take to be given as evidence in the police station. I didn't have any evidence being given, not in the police station, in the court. No, found guilty in court. I appealed, and all the judges were concerned about was who was in the courtroom and what they was doing there. I don't believe the appeal even took place. I believe it was a complete